Hello everyone. Today we try to understand what is database transaction and why they are important. First, understand the scenario without using a transaction. So let's take a banking example where you want to transfer say 100 rupees from account A to account B. So the ideal two-step process is you have to direct 100 rupees from account A and update that same 100 rupees in account B. Okay, this is a two-step process that we have to do. Now, in the real world scenario, we have application which can be any Node.js application, Java application, or Python application that is sitting on server A, and the databases are ideally on server B. Okay, so the server A, which is our application that sends a request to the database that we have to perform this particular query, and then the database will perform that query. It will give us a result, success or failure, whatever. Okay, and then we'll again send the next query to update the second record. Okay, this is what is ideally happening. So imagine if the server gets crashed. For example, in this step, suppose step one is you have updated the account amount of 100 rupees in account A, and then the server crashed, the database server crashed. Okay, so what will happen is when the server again reboots, it will still show invalid amount. It will show that 1900 is detect 900 is the balance with account A, and with account B 500 is the account balance, but ideally it should be 600 because we transferred that amount. This didn't happen because the server crashed in the middle, and we when we tried to hit that update query, it didn't work and it failed, resulting into a money loss. So now how can we solve this problem? We can solve this using transaction. So when you do the two-step process, you wrap it into a transaction. What do you mean by transaction? You have to wrap that into a two statements. One is begin and another is at the end of the statement. You have to write a commit. For example, the begin is the first that tells the database, okay, this is a transaction. I have to check all the SQL queries inside that, and I have to run all of them in one sequence only. And whenever I see a commit, I have to just dump it to the disk. When you see a commit, it is not actually dumping to the actual disk, but it's dumping into a write ahead log file, which is the database that it maintains. That we can discuss on this in another video. But yeah, try to understand that commit means it's the job of the database to store that data. In case of any failure, you can roll back. For example, if the server crashes, you can ask the server to roll back. So you have to write that particular code. I'll show you the demo code. It will be helpful to understand. So benefit of transaction is data consistency. So data consistency means suppose you start with whatever was your account initial amount balance, and if the server crash, it will go again back to get restored to that particular state only. There will be no incorrect state of account amount is generated from one account and it is not updated in the second account. Then next, there will be no partial updates, which I mentioned just now. Recovery from the failure, it will be happen automatically, and it is simple, all or nothing executed. For example, in between the begin and commit, you have like 3 4 SQL statements, which you need to be executed in the sequence. So if any of this got failed, it will automatically get rolled back. None of these SQL statements will be executed. Okay, so I'll just help you understand with a simple code. Uh, so first you can see this file is transfer amount without the transaction. So I've created a simple Node.js application connecting to a Postgres. Okay, and this is the way how you can connect to a Postgres. This is just for the demo purpose. You should ideally use connection pool for that, but it is for demo, and this is not the right way for adding the username, password, and the details. But this is for demo purpose, we can go with it. Then first step is to transfer. This is a method that I've called directly transfer. Then what we'll do, we'll connect to the database and we'll first deduct 100 rupees from account. So this is the first update query. Step one. Then the server crashed. I am purposely crashing the server. So this didn't happen. Like we wanted to update the account of the account B user to 100 rupees, but that didn't happen. So what you will see is incorrect data. I'll just show you. So this is the initial data of the two users. I have these table accounts. There are two users, John and Anirudh. This is their initial balance. Okay, you can see. Now I'll just run the query without the transaction part. Okay, so let me just check. This is transfer without the transaction. Okay, so you see detecting account to detected and then server got crashed. So what will happen is now if I go and I check my database, see there is inconsistency. So only the amount got deducted from account A, but Anirudh from but it didn't got updated in, or and John didn't receive that amount of 100 rupees. So this is inconsistency. Now the money is lost somewhere, which is incorrect. So now to solve this problem, I'll just revert this state. So yeah, so now I've reverted. So initially, Anirudh and John both have the initial amount. Okay, now I'll just show you what happened it with using a transaction. The same code is there connecting to Postgres. This is the details, and only thing is we have to mention the code. Like this is begin statement, and there is a commit statement. Okay, so now the same scenario I'm explaining. If there is a server crashed in between, so for example, same code I have written, there is a server crashed just before updating the second query, and what I'm doing is in the step number in the catch statement, I'm just roll back. If there is any crash, I have to roll back. That is my purpose. I want to make sure the data is intact. So what I will do is I'll just run this code. Transaction which is, so you see error occurred and rolling back. That's simple. So that means data is intact. So although it detected rupees 100 from Anirudh's account, but it didn't, and the server crashed. So it reverted whatever changes it had done, like removing the 100 rupees from Anirudh's account. So it rolled back to all the changes. So this is how you maintain the consistency and everything. So if I do a commit, then only it will be stored in the database. If I don't do a commit, then all the begin, then these changes will not be visible to the other user. So that is a different part that comes into the asset properties. I'll make a different video on that. So in that I'll be more clear like what happens when you do a begin and commit and how it is visible to other users and all. So this is a simple demo of how you will do begin and transaction. I can show you one thing. So if I uncomment now there is no server crash, and whenever I mention a commit, then only it will be reflected in the database. So I'm just doing this. So this has happened successfully, and here let me just refresh. Yeah, you see both account Anirudh got the amount got deducted from his account, which is 900 rupees got deducted, and John received that amount of 600, which 100 rupees which we were supposed to get. Okay, so total balance is 600. If I don't write commit now, then these changes will not be reflected in the account. Although this will happen, but your database will not commit those changes. That means it will not be written into the database. Okay, so this statement is very important. Commit only then it will be visible in your database. This transaction is happening, but still, if you are not committing, it will not be visible in the database. That is important. Yeah, thank you.